Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first meeting of 2009. This is actually technically our quarter two, so there is a typo on this. I will fix it. Welcome to the new year, everyone. As always, I want to start our meeting by going through our mission statement. I want this always top of mind that our goal is to provide resources to help women succeed in their careers as FileMaker developers. That does not mean you have to be a developer to be part of the organization. I am not. We have several members, many members, that are project managers and sales leads and marketing people, and that's okay. All of our goal is also to help women succeed in their careers as FileMaker developers. So we welcome everyone in the FileMaker industry as women to join us in that goal. Our goals are to provide networking opportunities, provide DevCon scholarships, provide mentorship opportunities, and also to provide leadership opportunities. And you'll see that as we go through our slides today. Every lead is really in charge of their area, and they take it on very independently. So it gives everyone a great opportunity to participate. So let's talk about the agenda. We're going to go through every area today. A little bit of a weird order because of some people that need to leave early. So it's not necessarily in order of importance or priority today, but in order of when leads are available. To the first slide here, as far as pause on error, I'm going to speak to that as Lisette is not available today. And there is a reason that this is first. One is that there is an announcement of a new pause on error. It's actually a pause X. A pause X is hosted by individual companies or members of the community, not necessarily by the pause on error main team of John Sendelar and Ernest Coe. This Pause X is on April 8th through 11th in Tulum, Mexico. The theme is Include. You can look it up on the website for Pause, pauseonerror.com. They are not selling tickets yet. It is being brought to you by Smallco. That is Albert Harum Alvarez's company, and Gianna and Hazel will be very involved, and they are women innovating together here with us. So we are excited that they're going to take the lead on running this pause. Now, Lisette, as you recall, Lisette Wilson as lead, Martha Zink and I worked on the pause in May. It was all women FileMaker oriented, and here's the big deal about why this is the first slide today. We were notified today that Pause on Error is sending us a check for the money earned, and it is so very excited to announce that we do have that check coming, and it will be in our new bank account, which we will talk about later on in the slideshow here. All right, so moving on, Vanessa, I will unmute you. We are going to talk about the DevCon launch.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you, Susan. I hope everyone can hear me here. This will be pretty quick. I know I wasn't able to make the last meeting, so I just included one of the images that I had from 2018 DevCon luncheon, and just wanted to again thank everyone for all of their help and for all of those of you that were able to attend. I think we had a really great turnout, and I know I learned a lot about moving forward and kind of some ideas for this coming year. So I'm really excited to hit 2019 in stride here and really start ramping up our efforts for planning for 2019. So my biggest thing today for our meeting is to really put a call out for committee members. I would like to have a committee meeting the end of January or the beginning of February. I'll send out a doodle once I have some people reach out and kind of loop in the people from last year. So for this, we're really just looking for a few people to help with some planning and some brainstorming and ideas leading up to the luncheon, as well as some volunteers for day of. which we'll make a call for probably in, I believe, that July meeting. So yeah, the luncheon really allows us to provide a space for networking for everyone at DevCon, as well as to recognize the scholarship winners and the leadership team and everything that's been done throughout the year. So that's the lowdown on the luncheon, and I look forward to hearing from some of you.
All right. Oh, you can reach Vanessa at her email there, vanessa@recruitingprossoftware.com, or hit her up in Slack. She's on there a lot.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thanks.
Moving on to marketing, and I believe Martha is here, so I'm going to unmute her. So Martha, the floor is yours.
Thank you. All right, so we really want to make sure that we reach out with our new name. It really is a big change, and we want to make sure that it gets recognized by the time DevCon comes around. So you'll see here, our Twitter handle is now WimInTogether. And if you're on Twitter, please make sure that you're using it as much as possible and referencing it and keeping up with it. We want to make sure we're liking things and retweeting there. We want to kind of get away from Women of FileMaker and WOF hashtags, just because that's not what our official name is anymore. So you'll see the two hashtags that we want to use. We really want to push the WIT FM, and I think that's what we'll use the most for DevCon, especially since it's short and sweet, and it should be easy to use there. So please make sure that you're using the hashtags, keep up with the Twitter handle, check out the community, the FileMaker community posts that are being put up there. And there are some of the website changes are coming up now. Susan, anything else that I'm forgetting?
No, I'm pretty sure, though, that I announced this as the Women of FileMaker meeting at the beginning. So it is very hard to get the habit of it being women innovating together. And it is kind of hard to say. So that WIT FM is really cool. I can tell you that the reason that our Twitter handle is Women Together rather than WIT FM is because there is a radio station that uses that WIT FM tag or the handle, but they don't often use that hashtag, so we can get it in that way. Perfect. So thanks Martha, and there'll be more marketing changes to come, I'm sure, as we dig in a little bit further. All right, Linda, I am moving on to you and the 501c progress, of which there has been quite a bit made.
I'm sorry, Susan, I'm going to let you run. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm going to let you run the slideshow for me here because I only got one.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Okay, thank you. And basically what we've gotten through is we've got our what would be considered the Articles of Incorporation. We are incorporated in the state of Texas. We have an EIN number, and we have a bank account, and now we got some money to put in it. So that's cool. The next step is going to be bylaws, where we're going to write the bylaws. These are like the how-tos. So we're going to take some of the information from the Articles of Incorporation, add like your job descriptions, our logo, what we do, how the organization runs, and we're going to use what we do now as to set it up with as a basis for everything. And hopefully by DevCon, we will have bylaws and we will be able to hold our first elections. Now, I came up with a tentative schedule, and I'll send that around to the leads. Basically, January through March, we're going to work on the bylaws. April, we'll present them at the quarterly meeting. And then in May, we'll be doing like nominations, that kind of thing, nominations for the elected positions and applications for volunteer positions. And then in June, July-ish, we'll be sending our bylaws. If they're approved, everybody agrees with them, then we'll send them off to like a CPA and attorney. If there are any changes that need to be voted on by the membership, we'll probably have to do that either by email or something around DevCon. And we'll have elections probably electronically before DevCon with the new the announcement at DevCon of who your board is for the year. So I'll put more about that, out on Slack, and you guys marketing can put out what they feel needs to go out to the world at large from that. So that's what I have, and other than to say very thank you to Elizabeth, Karen, Bev, and Susan for helping us get it to this far.
You guys have done such a great job, and this is so much work. So thank you so much. This is going to be a huge deal. I mean, we are already, so everyone is clear on how this works, we're already our own company. We are incorporated. And so that part has been done. That's what let us open the bank account, which technically isn't open. I have to actually go pick up the checks and take them to the bank, which is going to happen here shortly. But the other part of this, I have a question on, Linda. We are incorporated as a nonprofit. However, I don't believe that until we're a 501c that the donations are tax deductible. But
that's correct. But once we get that, yes. And I think we have, I think, 15 months from the date of incorporation to submit 501c3 status.
Okay.
You've got a certain length of time because we're just starting up here. So basically from, what was it, December of 2018, you've got like a certain length of time to actually say, okay, I've been running as a nonprofit, and here we go, and we can submit for that. But for this year, I don't think it's not tax deductible for the donor.
That's what I wanted to check on for this year. So
not until we get to the other. So yeah.
Okay, that's a good clarification that I might have to put out, because Maka and I did a podcast with Matt Navarre. I'm not sure when that's going to go live, probably within the next week or two. And it might say that we might have that ability. So I will try to clean that up there somewhere, or have Matt.
Yeah, this is just all time consuming, and the form to fill out for that is a little complicated, and it's better to take our time and do it right than to have it wrong, and then there's problems. So
very much so. So here's a question in chat that I want to put to you. Does that 15-month window mean that we can grandfather in the donations that are paid in arrears?
That I don't know. I'll have to go back in and read the IRS guidelines now. We've got new tax laws. So I'll go in and look that up.
That would be something very awesome to find out, because that could be a donation driver. Linda, thanks so much. Thanks to you. Thanks to your team. A lot of work done there, and it's going to be really awesome.
Yep. And just a reminder, for our next meeting is 5:30 Thursday with Zoom, and hopefully we can figure out how to get everybody in there. So.
And that's for the 501c meeting, right?
501c3 committee, yep, and anybody who wants to. So.
Okay, great. Okay, thanks, Linda. So adding to that, because we are now a nonprofit, we are able to set up G Suite as a nonprofit, which makes us free, which is pretty cool. So we'll be able to have email addresses for the leads. I know not all of you really are that excited about checking another email address. So if you are people who want to check another email address or want to use it in the performance of your role, please reach out to me. Let me know. I can add them to you for you. We can pretty much add as many as we want to. We'll be able to have a shared Google Drive and use the apps, and we might change to Google for the meetings if the recording option comes with the free nonprofit G Suite. So be on the lookout for a potential change to the meeting link. I will definitely test it out before we make that public, but that is a upcoming deal that we're working on. All right, so next up is going to be Elizabeth for donor relations.
Hello, good morning, and Happy New Year, everyone. So we've had our GoFundMe page up since September, and whoa, Susan, my clicker doesn't seem to be working.
Okay, hold on. Let me give you control here. Okay, there you go.
Click to, okay. Let's see. You are controlling Susan Fenema's screen. Okay. No love. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. So to date, from the GoFundMe donations, and this is a little bit outdated, but at the time that I turned the slide into Susan, we had a little over $3,500 collected from GoFundMe. Now that also does include the fee, so the net donation is actually about $3,400. We did just this morning get a donation from Barbara Levine, who also graciously offered to do some outreach to folks that she knows to try to get more donations. So that's really great. And if anybody out there listening in WIT FM land would also like some verbiage to send to folks to get them excited about donating, hit me up on Slack. I'm at eBeth. You can just DM me and I'll connect you with some language. This amount was raised by 8 people in 3 months. So we still have a good 6 months until DevCon. So I'm excited to see what else we can do in the months that remain. One of the parts of this donation is the Dave Johnson Memorial Scholarship, with which his widow, Mary Johnson, has paid in full. So that will be in its second year when we present it at the DevCon luncheon in 2019. Still pending payment, however, is the Karen Witzel Scholarship, but the support group has made their strenuous interest in continuing this program very clear. So once Susan gets that bank account open, probably by week's end, I'll be able to reach out to Karen Yentra at support group and see if they want to give us a check directly, which will be great because then we'll get all of it and we won't have to have GoFundMe skim off the top. All right, so I've been trying to make the rounds to various FileMaker meetings, talk about our programs, and so on and so forth. And in so doing, I've had a number of FBAs sort of pull me aside and go, hey, I've got some great ideas about how you guys could raise money. And one of them that came up was a Donate Now button. And I realized that this is sort of a larger undertaking, so I kind of wanted just to put it out to the group so people could start thinking about it, because I know there are better minds and developers out there than I that could probably shed some light and some experience on this. But the idea would be to partner with our FBAs and SBAs, the companies that make products where you have to go to a website and pay for it. The idea being that we could give them an icon and some information and some language that says, hey, would you like to donate a portion of this sale to, well, there's 2 things. One would be partnering with various businesses to see if they would donate a portion of their sales to us, maybe 3% or, whatever, we could figure that out. But then also have the button there for people who are purchasing from these FBAs and SBAs to say, hey, would you like to donate to Women Innovating Together? And here's the program, and take you to the website, and so on and so forth. Obviously, that's going to require a team effort to build and implement that. We're going to have to include marketing, Brenda's team with the website. Obviously, finance and donor relations will be involved in that. But I just wanted to throw that out there because it seemed like a super idea. So again, if you have any ideas about that, DM me on Slack at eBeth, that's me. And I'd love to hear anybody's ideas about fundraising and how we can make this happen better for our group.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. The one thing I wanted to mention, which has now escaped my brain since you changed to the next slide, if I remember it, I'll come back to it. But as far as that goes, we are working on changing our website. So that is, thank you. That is something, the Donate Now button is something that we could make on ours as well, so that they match where we send out. Could you, Elizabeth, could you Slack me and just Slack me Donate Now button so I can follow up on that after this call?
I will. And then the most important thing that I forgot to wrap up with is that is just a sort of sum total now, considering the pause on error donation. That actually puts us a little over $9,800 total in the coffer. And what that enables us to do is to basically meet our initial goal, which was funding 4 DevCon scholarships. All of this is assuming, of course, that the early bird reg is going to cost about the same as it did last year. Of course, we're making assumptions and estimates because we don't have visibility to the pricing just yet. But we can cover 4 DEF CON registrations. And at this point, we might actually be able to help cover a little bit of the room and tax cost, which was one of the things that scholarship committee had identified over the past several years is, this is part of the barrier to entry. And with that, I will let it dovetail into Sarah Beat for scholarships.
All right. Before we go to her, Elizabeth, does your total include the amount from the past year that I am waiting on Josie to send me?
Oh, it does not.
I think there's another $2,000 or so.
All right. So we might be in a really good position.
We might be in a great place, but that doesn't mean we stop raising money, because what if next year's not so good? So,
right.
Collecting all the money has been a challenge, and that's part of why we went forward with this corporation formation. So hopefully we'll have it all in one place soon, and this calculation stuff will be a lot easier. But with that, I will go ahead and unmute Sarah. And Sarah, I will give you access to drive this.
All right. Are you able to hear me?
I am.
Awesome. Well, I hope everybody can hear the excitement that we're all having, and amazing job to the donor relations team for, collecting all this money and really reaching out there and going back to everybody and getting all this support, because without them, we wouldn't have these scholarships. We're very, very excited about it. My team and I are ready to start reading and reviewing. But we do have just an update on the deadline, and I'm seeing if I think I'm controlling the screen, but it's not letting me click. There we go. We've actually extended the deadline to March 1st. We've done this for a reason, to be more aligned with FileMaker with their DEF CON event registration release. We just want to make sure that we're giving as much exposure as possible, that everybody's kind of aware of it, and just really give this scholarship an opportunity to get into as many hands as possible. So just to reiterate this, we are offering 4 first-time attendees the opportunity to go to DEF CON in August in Florida. This is the 3-day pass event, plus you're going to be able to go to the training day. You also have a mentor to help you with the experience and navigate the conference. We would really love it if you guys could share this. You're going to see this everywhere on Facebook. You're going to see it on Twitter, LinkedIn. If you could please share, or do another repost in your own way, that would be great. Again, we have a lot of verbiage or slides or anything if you have a presentation at a group or anything like that. We would really love it if you guys could share and try to get this opportunity into as many hands as possible. And so mine's short and sweet, just to let everybody know that deadline's been extended.
All right, thanks. And Sarah's not the one that screwed up forwarding the slide. That was me. My apologies. I was trying not to walk on you, but I did.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so I do have some chats in here that I want to catch up to. One is that Linda has suggested too, as a lead, if you would like a Women Innovating Together email address, you can of course forward it to another email address for you to check. So that is something that Google does well. The other thing that I believe, Vivian, you asked the question, can we ask FileMaker to give a discount for the scholarships? They do not discount the scholarships, but we do buy them during the early bird. So we get the discounted price that they offer. And from Linda, if you guys are looking at the chat, you can read what she has posted. But it appears as though while an application is pending, we can treat itself as exempt. The application is not yet pending though. So there's no assurance of deductibility until we're approved. But it's a possibility. Most of the people that are contributing, I don't think this is a big deal to. It's just kind of an added benefit. So there you go. And then Maka, I'm about to unmute you too. So I think I'll just let you speak to your chat that you just put in there. So I'm going to pass this on to move into the mentorship area. And Maka, I will give you control of the mouse here.
Okay. Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
Yes, I can hear you, and you should have control.
Okay, great. And my question for Sarah was, for people who already applied, since the deadline's been extended, can they reapply if they were rushed because I only gave somebody 3 days notice?
We haven't had a chance to actually talk about that. I did reach out to everybody that has applied already. I sent them an individual email. If they would like to get back in touch with me, I can find out what our line's going to be on that and then make sure that we communicate that to them. Does
Okay.
that kind of work?
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome.
All right. So on to mentorship. Okay, great. So my name is Maka Encarnação, and I am the lead for the mentorship committee. And our goal is to basically provide mentorship connections and attract new mentors and mentees. And we kind of have two subcommittees. We have the mentorship and DevCon Buddy. So I think I have their names on here. Let's see. Here we go. So Christy Lapidus is the sub lead for the mentorship committee, and then Teresa Ingalls is the lead for the DevCon Buddy. And basically, a quick updates on both of these things. The mentorship program, we recently put out a survey and we got some great results and some helpful feedback. So we're going to make some tweaks based on the feedback from our surveys. So that was great. We got some good suggestions for 2019. Some speaker mentorships to help with submissions and support while you're at DevCon. So if any of you are considering speaking at DevCon, I know that the deadline's coming up and you just like some support, reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Slack, or my email is on the screen. And whoops, did I do that?
It's me. I'm sorry. I'm trying to respond to somebody here and I messed you up. My bad.
No problem. All right, and then let's see here. So another thing we're considering doing for the mentorship committee is first-time speaker cheerleaders. So basically, have someone at DevCon who's attending your session. If you're a first-time speaker and you just want like a familiar face, a supportive person there in the audience for you. One of our suggestions is a one-to-many mentorship, basically like webinars, mentoring session, and that kind of leads into the next slide, which Susan gave you a nice little preview to. So that is something that's happening. And some more suggestions we're going to work on is some frequently asked questions we're going to put on our website for people who have reservations about signing up, like they don't know what the mentorship committee is about, what the program is about, and potentially doing some video marketing. And for DevCon Buddy, we have some ideas. We got a lot of great feedback from DevCon Buddy last year. I think it was a really good success. There's definitely some changes we want to make, and so Teresa's already started working on some of those things. And mostly that entails like the matchmaking process, like how can we kind of make it more like less awkward, basically. So if anybody has any ideas about that, please feel free to reach out to me. And we are going to continue on with the game, basically the DevCon scavenger hunt, and we're going to change it this year to be like a swamp crocodile kind of theme to kind of go with Orlando. And yeah, I would like to host the file this year and have a leaderboard and just make it more dynamic and make it a lot easier to submit, since people had a hard time submitting last year. So if anybody has any ideas or thoughts or suggestions, would love to hear them. Please reach out to me on Slack or on my email. That's all I got. And I don't think Christy made it on the call, but Teresa, I think you're here. Do you have anything else to add? I don't hear anything. Oh, she's good.
She was muted. I just unmuted.
Okay, good. She said she's good.
Okay.
All right. Thank you both for your hard work.
All right. Thanks, Maka. Your committee is really part of a big part of why we won our DevCon award. So we appreciate so much all that you guys do. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
I am now going to move on to Karen Stella. We actually have a new lead. Karen has taken it on upon herself to start virtual meetups. And so, Karen, I don't think you need control of the screen, but I will let you speak to your slide.
Does everybody hear me?
Yes, except that I stopped the share.
Wow.
What should I do?
So the whole meeting shut down?
No, the meeting's still here. I'm just working on sharing the screen. There we go. We're back.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't really need the screen as much because I forgot what was on the screen. Okay, so hi, I'm Karen Stella. I'm from Graphiteria Inc., and I'm in New York. And I've long been a fan of going to FileMaker user group meetings for many years in New York City, and then more recently, a virtual one that was hosted out of Florida. So I'm too many hours away from New York, and the Florida one gave up. They didn't say why, so I'm starved for another meetup. I hope also with what we do that we can do something that's more inclusive and not specific to any particular area, but rather broad enough that people from Australia to Japan to the US can all join a virtual meetup when we've got enough people to put together a meeting. So we'd be using Zoom, and we have the option of recording the sessions and sharing them. The presentations don't have to be heavy-hitting, high-level. I want to keep it casual and allow everyone from all levels to be able to engage. No intimidation or expectations of being DevCon level presentations, that sort of thing. And I also hope to do more casual roundtables and just allow general discussion. Maybe people, if it's an evening one, have a glass of wine, participate from home. So something very friendly and fun. I've lined up, with the help of one of our members, our first presenter for January. So I sent around a doodle poll, which would get an idea of when people were available, so we could set a schedule for this particular meeting based on the availability of the presenter and whatever time slots people could all get together the most. Is anybody on here seeing the doodle post that I sent? Oh, nobody can answer me, actually, I guess. So,
yes, everyone's
at any rate, you know what? I'm going to hit send to my links. I have in the chat a link to the initial list I sent up to sign up to hear about the meeting, and that says WIT Meetup List. And then the link on top of that is the doodle poll. It looks like it's shaping up to be late afternoon, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, the second to last week of January. And we've got about, well, last I looked, it was over a dozen people signed up, but I hope to have more. And Mike Mitchell from Netcaster Solutions has a presentation in mind called Stupid Virtual List Tricks, with appropriate apologies to David Letterman. So I hope more people can join us. And then for the future, we could use some people on the committee. And if we're planning to record and host the meetings, what we'll need is video editing skills, because it takes a lot of cutting and pasting from my experience to get something savvy enough to then share with the rest of the world. And so I don't want to be doing that all by myself. So I'm looking for some video people too, I guess. And of course, everybody has to agree to being shared, I guess, if we do that. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I think this is a great idea, and thank you so much for having it and bringing it into fruition for us. So we're excited to get started on it, and this is a great opportunity, in my opinion, for women to practice their presentation skills. And this is not intimidating. You get to hide a little bit behind your screen, and it gives you a good opportunity if you are considering submitting to speak at DevCon. that, a way to get some experience. And if nothing else, have some experience to list on your past experience place that you have to fill out on the form. I'm sure Rosemary will speak to that a little bit later in our session as we get to that part. I want to also go ahead.
Go ahead.
I want to make sure.
Now, I was just going to mention, if you all know Ronnie Rios from FileMaker, I sent him a note last night because he would also use my groups, the Florida or the New York one, to practice his presentations. So we get DevCon previews that way. So I'm hoping he'll come back and give us something before DevCon to give us a little taste.
That's pretty cool. I want to make sure that everyone knows, as far as this goes, that you're following the right social media. Laura Betts runs our social media, and she does an amazing job at it. And all of this stuff she will share out. It's via Twitter. We have a Facebook page. We have a community page on the FileMaker community. We also post to the general community. We have a LinkedIn group, and then we have a Slack group. All of the others you should be able to find on your own. The Slack group, if you will email me at susan@beyondthechaos.biz, I will add you to it. And we do a lot of discussion there. It's really an active and interesting group. So keep watching those places for when this meeting will be, and we'll make sure that it gets posted. All right, Laramie. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I know, I just see someone mentioned doing a YouTube channel so that we could possibly post these presentations.
Guess what we get with a, we should be able to attach that to our G Suite. So once we're approved for that, we can figure out how to put it on YouTube. That's a great idea. Well, great idea, Bev. So I wonder if that means Bev is volunteering to be in charge of that. Oh, look, Laura is volunteering to help out with video stuff. That's fantastic. If you guys are not watching the chat as part of this, you should take a look. There is some great conversation going on just in the Zoom chat as we're going. All right. So Karen, do you have anything else?
No, I think that's good. I hope everybody goes and signs up. And obviously we'll be getting the kinks out with that first presentation effort. And like I said, I really hope we can actually schedule it all across the globe so they're not always, Eastern Standard Time only and everybody else gets left out, because we've got Australia, Japan, South America, Canada, lots of people interested. So we might, be able to have them very irregularly on purpose.
That's great. All right. So Laramie, you're next up. You should be ready to go. Except I can't hear you. Laramie, are you there? Laramie, I see you in chat, but we cannot hear you. She says she knows. She must be working on it. All right, I'll start speaking to our slide, and if she gets the audio worked out, then she can chime in. We had a dream board at the booth last year, as most of you know, and there were a lot of great things that were suggested that we want to actually move forward with. But to move forward, we need some volunteers. So we are taking volunteers, and I think this came up in chat earlier as to who is working on the chocolate party. I think that we could combine the chocolate tasting party and the WIT FM Great Fudge Cook-Off into one thing. If somebody wants to work on that, they absolutely, okay, it sounds like Laramie has fixed audio, so I'll hand it over to her in a second. On the chocolate tasting, working with Mike Bergy would be great, because he's done them the past couple years in a very small way, and my guess is he'd love to have it in a larger way, so we can help him do that. And Laramie, I will go ahead and give that, turn that over to you. Oh, Vanessa says she's happy to bring that into the event luncheon committee. So we're just going to do that. Chocolate is now part of Vanessa's lunch committee. And Laramie, I will go ahead and let you take the rest of the slide. Except that we still can't hear you. All right, I'll go ahead and finish up the slide then. So the other suggestion is a WIT FM t-shirt. If we have enough funds, that's certainly something that we could do. FileMaker will not usually allow things to be sold at the booth. So if we want to sell them to pay for them, we might have to do that offline in another way. So something to consider if somebody wants to lead that, that would probably not be a huge undertaking if you wanted to take on that. One of the other was putting together what am I worth as a developer. I think this would be a huge contribution to our group so that people understand their value. This could be a white paper opportunity, so, or any other creative way that you want to present it. So we do need someone to take charge of that. The time to chat one-to-one is just something that Laramie can work on as we coordinate the booth, as well as the speed mentoring at the booth. But all of those things came up, and they are all things we are working on. Okay, so we are going to move on now to our FileMaker slides. And just as a heads up, as we've formulated our official corporation, Julie Sigfrinius is going to be our FileMaker liaison. She is really the one that talks between us and FileMaker. She is unable to be here today, unfortunately, but Mia Roop and Rosemary have come to cover a bit of stuff for her. So to make it more clear for everybody as far as how we're forming the organization, Julie is not a voting member and she is not on the board of directors. She is an advisor. So we look at her as a member of our group from that way. So let me turn this first slide over here to Mia. And Mia, let me see if I can give you control here. I think you are unmuted, so you're good to
Can you hear me, hopefully?
I can hear you.
Yay!
All right, and you should have control of the screen. I will try not to click anything and mess you up.
Okay. Let's see if I can get this to work.
It takes a second at first, but there you go.
Oh, okay. It may fully build at this point. So thank you, Susan. This is Mia. I'm from FileMaker. I am a partner manager. And Julie, yes, she could not be here, and she asked me to cover the 3 topics that she had. One of them is having to do with DevCon and the Women Innovating Together, or WIT FM DevCon proposal. We are really excited to hear from you guys on how you would like to participate at DevCon, and we are asking that you submit your proposal, which would include goals, success criteria, requests that you have by February 1st to Julie, all in one big proposal. So hopefully you can accommodate that, not too far away. The next thing is, this is near and dear to my heart. As I am a partner manager, and as part of this team, one thing that is a huge goal for us is to do partner recruiting. You know, people are, and FBAs and consultants are in many cases working at full capacity. And we hear that there is a need for, you know, either people, developers that could work for FBAs, or in general, just, you know, new FBAs to the team. So what we are asking is if you can help us with this. We hope that you can start thinking about ways that you as WIT FM can help us increase the number of FBAs, and any suggestions would be more than welcome. One of the things that I have been doing is I look at the meetups, and meetups in my area are places where I can drive to. One of the meetups that I've been going to is Women Who Code, which is, if you haven't been to it, there are many, it's an international group and they're all over the country, and it is amazing. And I am not technical, I'm not a developer. I love this group. They are really well run. And I've presented there, and since there are many of them, I can present at other ones in other locations, but I can't be everywhere. And it tends to be presenters are women, and it's a very, very, very high percent of the people that are there are women, although it's not exclusive. And that would be a place where I would love to see you guys go, network, and talk about what it's like to be in part of the FileMaker community. I also do this at SQL meetups. There's one in New York City that has over 20,000 members, and we've had like over 100 people attend. We've had another one that was 80 people attend. And it's again, trying to get people interested in the platform, and especially in becoming an FBA. So any ideas that you have, I would be welcome to talk to you about them, or you can, approach Julie with that. Okay. The last thing that Julie wanted me to talk about was having a wit at the Wedge. The Wedge is our FileMaker headquarters in Santa Clara. And Julie wanted to open this up as, maybe one of your in-person meetings, either board meeting or some kind of meeting with your group, be at the Wedge. And she would be happy to help you with that. And if you are interested, please contact her. And it is sig@filemaker.com. And I think that's it for me, unless you have any questions.
I think if you can hang on, we might have some more questions at the end, but thank you for all of that. It's all great information.
You're welcome.
And then I believe Rosemary, I think you can unmute yourself, Rosemary, and I will.
Oops, we both did it.
Just every time I click and then going back is, okay, we did this. Okay, so Rosemary, I think your screen is billed, so I'm not going to give you control of the screen because clearly I fail it when I do that. So I think you are unmuted, and we will let you go ahead and address this.
All right, so less than a week for speaker proposals. That's my challenge is, between a quarter and a third, we're really would like to reach that 1 in 2 and 1 in 3 speakers are women this year. We've been growing steadily the portfolio or the collection of women speakers over the last several years. I did put up a FileMaker community blog post this morning that goes into a little detail about what we really look for. And it's not topics we look for, it's how we as a committee at FileMaker evaluate speaker proposals. And I also linked out to the mentoring sign-up page for both people who are looking for help this week and also people who have time this week and are willing to mentor a first-time proposer. So Maka, be prepared. I'm sorry I didn't warn you that it was going up. And my other ask is I'm going to put that out on Twitter in a little while. So if everyone here with Twitter reach could also retweet that request. We want to get the word out far and wide so that we have too many proposals to choose from.
All right. Thanks, Rosemary. Thanks, Mia. I appreciate you guys filling in for Julie, as I know she does, and good information there. All right. So our next slide is about the website. And Brenda, I will unmute you if you have anything that you'd like to talk about in regard to what's upcoming on that. Brenda, are you there?
I am.
Okay, hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to let you know that we are currently putting together a plan, working with the marketing team to look at revisions to the website. In the past, that season of website updates tends to take off a little bit in January, but then as we get more information from FileMaker itself, there tends to be a season of updates that occur alongside with the information that they provide, and just making sure that all the links are working and that people are able to access the information that they're looking for. So I don't really have a whole lot to talk about at this moment, but I would really love to have more photography on the website. I think it would make our site more interesting. And the photography that we've had in the past was really luncheon oriented. So if any of you have great photography from some of the things that happened last year, it'd be really fun if you could maybe pass those along through. Susan, what would you suggest? Probably our Basecamp accounts?
We did move to Teamwork from Basecamp, but that is a good way to do it. Or through Google Drive. As we get that set up, that's going to be a great central repository. I do know, Brenda, that Vanessa has a whole bunch of photos, past and present, that we can access. She's just waiting for that Google Drive access to be able to download them all to one place. So hopefully we can find some more stuff out of there.
Yeah, so a great website is content driven, and we haven't had a lot of content contributed to the website in the past. We could definitely put together a plan to find some more content and find people who want to contribute to it. It has not been a priority in years past, but it's absolutely something that we can put into the planning phase if that is of interest to the committees.
No, that sounds great. And if anybody has suggestions for something they'd like to see on the website, please feel free to reach out to me or Brenda with your suggestion. And if you have pictures, same thing. Feel free to reach out to Brenda or me, and we'll make sure that those get included in our I guess portfolio of pictures. Okay, so that really covers everything that we were going to cover today. We do have upcoming meetings that are there, and if you have any offline questions or need to contact me, my email address here is at the bottom of this slide. I am also happy if you all have power to unmute yourselves. If anybody has any questions that you'd like addressed, we do have about 5 minutes here, or if you have any suggestions or even something you put in the chat that you want to talk about out loud, please feel free to chime in. Okay, it looks like nobody's really forthcoming with that. If there are questions that I missed, or things that I missed in the chat. Oh, I did see one thing in the chat I wanted to mention. Linda let us know that the 501c is retroactive to the start. So it will be retroactive to December if we are approved. Of course, there is no guarantee if for some reason we are not approved. So that was really good information, and is kind of exciting that we can be tax deductible now. All right, I'm going to sign off, and if there were questions in the chat that were not addressed, I will look through that and I will make sure that everyone gets answered. But thanks so much. We appreciate your participation, and thanks so much to all the leads who do so much more hard work to make this go. Y'all have a great one. Bye-bye.